Hey NewSpring fam, welcome to the first episode of For the Gen Zs.
What's up everyone? I hope you guys are excited just like we are. We're really ready to get into these conversations, have fun, and just really answer the deep questions that we all have, right?
Exactly. To kick us off, we're going to start with the little game, and we need you to play along because what's the game if it's just two people? I mean, come on. So we're going to start with this or that, okay? And the first question, trust me, all of this is going to make sense when we get into today's conversation, okay? So just stick with us. Okay, be calming down, stick with us. Okay, so what I'm starting with is, would you rather get $1 million every year, like somebody just drops it in your account, $1 million every year, or would you rather have $10,000 every time you win a soul? Think about it. $1 million every year or $10,000 every time you win a soul. What would you do?
I'm not gonna lie, for me, I don't know. The $1 million every year is kind of nice. I don't have to do anything. But actually thinking about it, if I really do want to be the good Christian that I actually want to be, then yeah, 10,000 for every soul that I win, man. I'll be out in those streets.
I'm not gonna lie, for me, let's do the math. 10,000 times 12 months, 1,200. Currently at this rate that I'm going at, I'm gonna be honest with myself, I'm not winning any souls once a month even. So I'm gonna respect myself and go for the 1 million every year. Let us know what your answer is. We want to see it in the comments because, like I said, it's a boring game if it's just the two of us playing. So let's know what you think. Okay.
Right. Hold on, I got one for you though. So would you rather give 20% of your income, like let's say your annual income, would you rather give 20% of that as tight, or would you rather put 15% of your income into stocks? Because I don't know, with this whole kind of lockdown type of thing recently, stocks have been mad.
Right? Everyone's talking about Forex this, Forex that, like Bitcoin this. But honestly, with what happened with the Bitcoin recently, I think I'm going to give my money to the church. Sorry. But I'm going to give my money to the church.
I'm not going to lie, I'm with you on that. Because, nah, man, if I lose that amount of money, God, come and take me already, honestly.
Okay, I have one more for you.
Okay.
If you have a chance to come back into this world as another person, hey. This one is one of my favorites. Like, you guys actually have to answer this one. If you have a chance to come back to this world as a random, like any person in this world, would you rather come back as Jeff Bezos or Pastor EA Adeboye? I want to see what y'all think about this one. What do you think? I can answer that.
I don't know. That one's tough because think about the money that Jeff Bezos has made.
Influence, power.
I know, but then also think about the impact, like the actual good impact that JL's made as well. I don't know. I'm not gonna answer. But what are you saying though?
Since he's been a chicken, I'm gonna be honest. Honestly, I feel like Pastor EA Adeboye, he's modest, but he's got that bag. He's got that bag. And I'm not gonna lie, having that Jeff Bezos money scares me. So I'm just gonna stick with what I think I can handle. So I'd rather be the G. I mean, he's got a lot of money, for being honest. It's just not very flashy. He's a humble person. So
actually, nah, you're actually right. No, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna understand that.
Go ahead and copy me.
Okay. But okay, last one, right? So would you rather pastor a church, like let's say a biggest church, and make $100,000 a year, or would you rather pastor a mega church of 100,000 people?
I feel like these days Christians just be pouring money into the church, like buying pastors. It's not that there's a problem, but I'd rather get $100,000 every year. Sorry, I don't like stress either. I can't be doing mega church.
No, honestly, I'm 100% with you because, bro, 100,000 people.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Even like the couple hundred followers on Instagram, bro. We
don't even have a couple hundred of, okay, I'm just gonna now cast myself. But anyway, okay, now that we're done with this game, I really hope you put in your answers in the comment section because, like I said, it's a conversation. It's not just us. You're here. We have a seat for you. You can't see it. It's invisible, but trust me, it's there. Okay, and we need to shake this table. We need to shake the table. So yeah, are you ready for the conversation? We hope you are.
It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be nice. So let's get into it. Let me introduce the topic at hand. It's very hot. All right. So, get your fans ready, get your AC ready. So you know, typically in these times, you hear people use this phrase, chasing the bag. Don't worry about what I'm doing.
Chasing the bag.
But that's something that's going around a lot in these times, chasing the bag. But today's topic, we're weighing the bag versus the gospel. So we have chasing the bag versus chasing the gospel.
Okay.
So to kick it off, I have a nice little question for you.
Let's get into it.
Do you think that the two are mutually exclusive?
Chasing the bag and chasing the gospel. Honestly, I think it's very hard to actually it's one thing to answer that question. It's another thing to actually put it into action.
For sure.
And I think I try to chase that gospel, but it doesn't want to be caught. I'm kidding. I am trying. I'm trying, and honestly, if I'm being honest, no, I don't think it's mutually exclusive. I think when it comes to balancing two things, I do think one is more important, honestly speaking, and that's chasing the gospel. But chasing the bag is essential. And I think God does want us to chase the bag. Chase the bag in the worldly term, whatever that means. But God does want us to be financially stable and successful, right? So I think that, of course, when you're balancing two things, they won't always have the same weight. At some point, something will weigh bigger than the other. But I do think in chasing your bag, you can chase the gospel as well. So you don't have to be at church to chase the gospel. You just have to have that relationship with God. And that's really all that matters, because when this world is over, this is not going to be here. The church is not going to be here. It's your heart and your actions and God, right? So I think that's all that matters. Honestly, as for me, if I want to be an activist, I don't see how I can't do that while chasing the gospel as well. So it's really about building that altar in your own space, building that altar in your own field. It doesn't really have to be I don't have to come to church and sing on the podium on Sunday for me to be chasing the gospel. I could do that and not be chasing the gospel, I could chase the bag and be chasing the gospel more than someone who's in church every other Sunday. So it's really about staying true to yourself. What do you think?
Honestly, I literally agree. Literally, your last point that you just made, that's literally it. You might think that in a way, if you're doing all these church things, that you're chasing the gospel, but you're really not. It's really about the deep connection. It's a personal thing, right? And
exactly.
Like you said, you can definitely do both, because you also mentioned, the Bible wants us. God says that He wants us to be prosperous. He doesn't want us to be broken on the street. So
I'd be broke right now, but it's fine. Okay, question 2. We do want to know what you think. Tell us what your opinion is in the comment section. Do you agree? Do you disagree? But we want to know what you think. What makes people think it's either or why are they leaning towards chasing the bag more?
Oh, definitely. All right. So to answer the latter part of your question, I feel like people chase the bag more because that's kind of that's what we're used to seeing. We don't hear anything about, or we don't hear much about people who are out there saving souls and all that stuff.
And even when we hear of them, they don't look cool. No offense. I'm respectfully, they don't look cool. And that's why we're chasing the bag instead, right? Well, that's why we seem to be chasing the bag instead, right?
But yeah, so like you said, going let's say something that's big, social media. You see all these people flashing out their cars, all their money. They'll be on the ground
on the yacht in Dubai. You already know.
Y'all see me doing all that type of stuff. So it's that life looks so fun. It looks so nice. So then people kind of get away from there is steps to take to get there, but people don't see that. People think it's just the chase of the bag, right? But if you really think about it, we need to be able to look at people in our own sphere, Christian people that are out there doing big, great things, right? And
but it doesn't look like there's a lot of them. It doesn't seem like there's, well, maybe not that there's not a lot of them. There's not a lot of publicity about them. And I think that's how social media is built. Yeah. That's not the flashy life. And so our question about Jeff Bezos and the Geo, Jeff Bezos is out there. The Geo's living his humble money in his mansion. You don't know that, right? Social media is not going crazy about that. However, they're going crazy about the divorce. So priorities, right? So in my opinion, I think the reason why it's either or is, like I said, social media just paints it to be that way. Yeah. And I think the people that find it to be something you can actually combine and a balance are the people who actually take the extra step to actually go find out. That's really all that matters. For being honest, we all sit down in our house and we're nobody's doing this, or it's so hard to do this. But low-key, you don't care, because low-key at the back of your head, you're trying to set yourself up in a way that you can get away with not doing anything, because social media is not showing you anything, but you don't want to take that step. So once everything goes wrong, you're going to blame it. I know social media did this and that, but sis, you messed up. Okay? You messed up. I messed up too. But that's just what I think. And I think we lean towards it more because for some reason the church doesn't seem to have a grip on young adults or young people in a sense. Like everywhere you go now, everyone's asking why the young people love the church. Like and it's a valid problem. And I think that's because like we said in our intro, like we don't feel heard. Like we don't feel like we have a voice. And sometimes we feel like the church cannot relate.
Yeah,
but
true.
Yeah.
But literally, I'm so happy that you mentioned like church. So like going into like another question, like what is the role of the church like in this conversation? Like when it comes to multiple streams of income, like how does the church play a role in that?
Honestly, I think godly empowerment, that's my own opinion. Like I feel like the church should be able to empower people to make smart financial choices. Yeah. Like as much as like a lot of us seem to be broke because we're young, but if you actually when you're doing your tax return, hey God, when you're doing your tax return and you see how much you've actually made in that year and you think of how much money you spent stupidly, that's when it hits you like, I don't know how to handle money. No, dead ass. Like I don't know how to handle money. And I feel like the church has a responsibility in training that because the church is not just about ensuring your salvation. In fact, it is just about ensuring your salvation, but ensuring your salvation doesn't just mean, do you know what Matthew 10 verse 5 says? I don't know what it says, but it's about like in your salvation includes how you're living your life on earth. So how are you being smart about money? And beyond that, I feel like the church should be more open about like funds, if we're being honest. And I really appreciate it when I see churches that are genuine with like what their income is, how much you're spending, what else they need money for. And because of that like hush hush kind of attitude about money, except for when it comes to tithing and offering, is when people start to feel like, oh, they don't want to give to the church. Like, what do you think about that whole like scenario? Like people not giving, people giving and all of that?
See, that's actually caused like a bunch of like kind of chaos, especially like in social media, because people always like talk about like, oh, they gave to this church, but they saw like this pastor was out buying all these
everybody's getting
fancy
dragged,
cars. Exactly. But it's not about who you're giving to. Like you should, well, it is about who you're giving to, but not in like the human like kind of way. It's not like you're giving to this church because you're giving to this pastor. You're giving to this church because you're giving to God. Like I think that's where people miss it, because honestly, what the church does with the money, it's not your business, but it's with the intention that you give that money. Oh, shit. It's very tough, because if I'm giving my widow's mite to a church every single time I've seen this pastor roll up in Rolls Royce and all that stuff, I might feel some type of way, but we have to let that mentality go. I completely
agree. Like you said, we're not giving to the building, we're giving to God. And I think we think of everything in life as an investment. It's not. You're not investing in the church. Trust me, you're not. The only thing you can invest in your Christian journey is your salvation, and let that sink in. You can only invest in your salvation, and you do that by talking to God, building your relationship to God. If you think you're adding anything to the church, you're wrong. Like, I'm sorry to say, but you're actually wrong, because the church, it's not an investment that you're going to see your profits yield in amount of time. No, like you're giving to God to show, not even to show that, oh, the church needs this, but to show that I respect you and I appreciate you so much. Like, minus the fact that God says to give, obviously, like even pay your tithe, guys, like 10%. God says pay your tithe. There's no argument about that in the Bible. But yeah, like I was saying, like when it comes to giving to the church, I don't think of it of, oh, I'm giving my money to help take care of like, oh, we need to pay the mortgage. No, it's like, God, I appreciate all you've done for me. I'm giving you this little portion, because trust me, it's a little portion. Like honestly, 10% is little for all that God has done for you. So I'm still struggling. No, let me not lie. I'm still struggling. But like we have to call it as it is, right? Like that's the only way we can kind of like move forward, right?
Exactly.
So you're not giving to the church to pay mortgage. You're giving to God to appreciate him, and whatever the church decides to do with that money, that's not your business. Like if the pastor spends the money on buying that Lamborghini that he's going to take to assault someone in the church, that's not your problem when it comes to paying yes, that's wrong. Completely and utterly wrong. But that shouldn't be your concern when you're thinking of giving. Your concern should be what's going on between me and God on the inside. It's not about the cash you drop. Like it's really not, because like the story of the widow's mite, like you mentioned, like she gave her all. We don't know what those prophets were using the money for back in the day. Like maybe they were buying some nice donkeys, but like you're giving to the church. You just get your mind out of that space. It's hard, but being intentional about it just helps you to get better.
Exactly. And then also, it's really a journey. So don't forget that. Don't be hard on yourselves if you don't get it right, like in the beginning. These things also take time, but just be intentional about.
Exactly, because like I mentioned, I'm not perfect. I know for a fact he's not perfect.
Let's not put it like that though.
Okay, I'm not calling any respectfully. He's not perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody in this world's perfect. Like Christians aren't perfect people. Not at all. Like we're imperfect people serving a perfect God. Exactly. We don't know anything. Like we actually don't know anything, but it's our intentionality, right? Like God counts faith as righteousness, not the amount of sins you don't commit today. I can look at my list of sins today and check 20 things off the list already. And it's only 1:30 p.m. Like, I don't know what time it is in your time zone, but it's not about those things, right? It's about your heart and your relationship with God. So, yeah.
But so kind of wrapping it up, like, what are we really trying to say? Like, what's the like big idea of this conversation?
I think one for sure is that God does want you to be prosperous. Like he wants you to get that bag and have the bag to be heavy and be enough for you and your family. And the gospel needs money. The gospel needs money to go far. If we need missions to get the gospel to people in the world, we need money. We want to empower people and how to be smart with finances. We need money. So you can't do anything in this world without money. The problem isn't even the money. It's like your heart towards the money, right? Money is not a bad thing. Money is it's a hella good thing. Okay? Money is not a bad thing. So like the Bible just says like seek first the kingdom of God and everything else will come with it. Like the roots of evil is not the actual cash you're spending. The roots of evil is the heart you have towards money, right?
And that's what 1 Timothy 6:10 talking about, like the love of money is the root of all evil. Like obviously the money is nice, man. Honestly, and if anyone is watching out here, if you want to come drop some money,
bye.
You know where to find me. But no, like going back to your point, like money furthers like the ministry. Like we need money for these things. So yeah, it's just about your intentionality about how you feel about the money and what you do with the money. Because we're not saying like, nobody's saying don't go out and like buy something nice for yourself every once in a while, but also make sure that you're taking care of what comes first, things like your tie and all those things, and just and also use your money to help people as well. Like that's a big thing too. So
I hope we haven't lost you and we haven't gotten you confused, and I hope you're contributing to this conversation. We're just gonna make it, the last thing I'm just gonna say is that it's not greedy to want to be rich. It's not greedy for you as a Christian to want to have $1 million in your account at 21. It's not greedy. If that's God's will for you, go for it. So we're just gonna end this off with a quick little game it's not a game, it's a section. We've tagged this and we're gonna have this for every episode, so you better come back next week or the week after, whenever the next video comes out, okay? And it's called time travel, and you're gonna do this on your own time. Maybe tag us on Instagram at NewSpring_Hamilton. But what we want you to do is write something to yourself, and what we want you to write is, what's the number you want to see in your bank account 10 years from now? Just write it down. Write the vision and make it plain. Write it down. What do you want to be seeing in your bank accounts 10 years from now? Just put it down and maybe just think of one step, just one thing you know you can do that can get you to that goal. And
for sure. And even going back to that, like you said, write the vision, make it plain, and honestly dream big too, because you know God can come through with, someone could just come and drop $10 million. If anybody's watching, Amen. God sees you. God sees your heart. God sees my own heart as well. So come drop the money. But yeah, so just have fun with it. Take your time with it. Do it. And then don't forget about it. So have fun. Yeah. And just like, I don't know whether you write some papers anymore. So just save it somewhere in your notes. And trust me, 10 years from now, it's just going to click in your head randomly. Let me take a look at this and you'll be surprised at how far you've come. Exactly. So again, I hope we haven't lost you. I hope you're engaging, and we're so glad that you're on this journey with us. And we're so glad that you're taking your rightful seat on this table that needs to be shaking. Okay? And we can't wait to see you next time. I'm Evie. And I'm Sam. And we are your hosts of this amazing show called For the Gen Zs. See you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, what else? Share, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, all that YouTube stuff. Easy. You know what it is. Like, you know what it is. Okay, see you next time, guys. Bye.